All right, Tyler, it's time to talk about Punisher number 5.
To talk about that Punisher
Jason
number
Aaron.
5.
Louise, is it Louise? Jesus.
Jesus Saiz, Paul Azakita, and Dave Stewart.
Yeah, give it up to Dave.
Give it up to Dave Stewart because he's the colorist.
I like how I went radio. Give it up to Dave.
Give it up to Dave Stewart winning the tickets to Stone Temple Pilots for being the 5th caller.
On
KRNA,
the Buzz.
Coralville's biggest rock.
The Buzz. That was a bad burp.
Coralville's
Biggest.
You want rock and roll in the metropolis of Coralville, Iowa?
You gotta stop this bit.
You gotta fucking
This
stop.
is gonna say hard
Fucking
rock for
stop.
your hard cock. But it says.
instead
of saying cock, it'd be a rooster.
Well, where are we at in the Punisher book is that when we last saw him, he had just shown up to his wife, and he's covered in blood, and he's like, we gotta go.
After she had killed the hand members that have the black and white of the Punisher, she said she killed their family members.
And the last thing we see is her staring at him, or him staring at her, and then the next page is him going, yo, we gotta go. I think I did something bad.
I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. I might have killed everybody in the compound. But when he just goes off on her is nuts.
Yeah, so he
slices her in half.
tries to cut her to pieces with the...
Yeah, and then she turns... Oh, yeah.
So then she turns into like this weird tentacle monster thing.
Well, she's a demon, clearly. She's not human.
What?
Big.
Yeah, but we've never seen her like in this form before.
Not, yeah.
And we don't even necessarily see her face either, because he slashes her and then she like transform, but she's still kind of hooded, and there's like all these weird like claws and tentacles, and he keeps like chopping her, but she doesn't bleed either. It's red blood. It's like this black bile. So yeah, clearly she's
not
some
human.
sort of super, like a demon or whatever. And it's actually pretty cool. Again, the color of the art is so good in this. And then he goes to grab Maria. And this is a thing where, like, when he goes into the woods, this is what I love so much about Jason Aaron's storytelling, is how it's subtle in a way of, like, it doesn't... It's written broadly enough to bring in a big audience, but it's also written in a way that's like you can draw the conclusions, because she's saying, I can't see you anymore, Frank. This feels like, I know this feeling has felt like in the park when we all... And in that moment, you're starting to understand, like, the spell's wearing off. She's dying again. And that's like, and then that's that aha moment of this issue of, like, the priestess was never going to let him leave. She was never going to let him steal. That's her
made the proverbial deal with the devil, and now he's realizing the priestess gave him a monkey paw, and he made a wish without caring about what the consequences were going to be.
Yep.
You'll get your wish, but it comes with a price.
Yep.
What is his price? Now, if he wants her, he has to stay there. And now he has to probably do whatever she wants now if he wants to keep his wife alive.
But again, I love the choice to tell us from the priestess perspective.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. Just some of the, only in fear of your heart can you hold fast when come roiling the seas of doubt. Trust in fear and murder, for these shall abide forever within the world of man. Murder shall make you free. Like, it's just you are reading the mind of a fanatic,
mm-hmm.
and it's kind of nuts. And again, I've said it this whole entire time. It really makes you think about this and makes you think about what you're reading.
Yeah.
And while this book is entertaining and gory and violent, you also have to look back and think of, like, who are we idolizing here?
Yeah.
Slay your doubts with the same fervor in which you slay your fellow man, and a place shall be prepared for you in the great red kingdom of the beast. But allow doubts to feed and grow fat. Allow your fear to become misguided, and one day the beast may see fit to remind you in his way that he is the beast and you are meat.
It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking crazy.
But so then we go to the flashback, and we get his story, his backstory with Stedman Sternberger. And he's getting bullied, and Frank comes in and saves him and beats him up. And then we kind of get
beats
more
up the kids who are bullying
him.
You
yeah.
made it sound like he beats.
He beats up everybody.
He saved him, and then he beat him up.
He saved Sternberger and beat up the bad guys.
I just want to.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. So we kind of get more of that story, and then we find out that Sternberger was like, I want to help you because you're not showing up to class, you're showing up drunk, and I want to help you like channel that aggression. So he convinces him to try out for hockey, and Frank is essentially a goon. He just beats up dudes. And that's where we get the first time he sees Maria, because he splatters blood. And fucking, this section, like this issue of his backstory, where he talks about Maria in a way that in the way that Aaron rewrites and like retcons and rewrites Frank's story, and how he constantly, I think the changes in the retcons that he makes are interesting, and I think, I'm not saying they're
retcons.
Actually, you know what? It's not a retcon. It's adding to their story, I guess.
I don't. Because
you know what?
I don't think they've ever really gone into.
I think you're right.
This is what's great about this series. No, and I'm not saying, hey man,
no,
you don't know. No, I'm not saying that at all.
I'm just saying, for the most part, we don't know that much about Maria at all, because she is the catalyst that makes him the Punisher. That's all we know about. That's all
right, and you fucking just nailed it. All throughout this motherfucker's history, dude, all of it. His wife and his kids have always been a means to an end to make Frank Castle into the Punisher. And how did he become the Punisher? They had to be brutally murdered. Okay, is that all they are, though? And to be honest, I think Jason Aaron took the whole thing with all those asshole cops using his Punisher symbol.
Oh my God, the ending to this. Woo! We'll get to it.
And the fact that Maria is literally never been anything but a name.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they know the kid's name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, as I was saying it, I was starting to think of, like, we don't see much.
This series is fleshing her out.
Yes.
And it is almost a Me Too for a movement for Maria Castle.
And I think, you know what I think?
It's her story. I know people are going to be like, what the fuck?
No. I think, and I know what you're talking about, because I know,
I don't think she's abused. But
I have never read this series, but I know like the big plot points. I don't know everything.
You're starting to figure it out. You're starting to see the signs.
I knew that Ares was in it, and I knew like the second half Maria plays a much bigger role in the story. I knew that, but when this was coming out, and there were a lot of dudes who said that Jason Aaron ruined the character and Marvel ruined the character.
Sure, of course.
Because of I wondered why. Because for the most part, I'd heard nothing but good things about this book. And so now I'm starting to piece I'm like, oh yeah, because Maria takes a bigger role, so it's fucking woke or some stupid shit like that. Anyway. But what was so interesting to me, and you're right, maybe it isn't a retcon because I don't know much about Maria, right? But to use that as a mechanic to this story, but how it works of like Maria Elizabeth Falciano was a dutiful student at St. Teresa's Academy of the Sacred Heart who never been in trouble a day of her life, who prayed every night before bed. And there's the blood splatter of the other guy on the glass at the hockey game. And it's the next panel is Frank. It says there was something about her, something Frank would never admit, not even to himself. She reminded him of someone. And it shows the brutally beaten woman from the previous issue. I'm like, fucking Christ. As I'm like, this whole extended flashback sequence in this issue, I was constantly just being like, what the fuck? Because I've never
love
seen
the art in the flashback.
Yeah, I mean, and we have never seen someone break down Frank this much.
Yes.
We have not, like you just said. Where I thought
never heard of Stedman.
I thought it's
your first instinct is, oh, is this like a young microchip?
Well, my thought,
you know who microchip is?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And like all of this again works where I thought this is probably a retcon. We were like, wait a minute, is it? And it's like, oh yeah, I guess we don't know that much because all most people know about Frank is he served in the military. He came back. He was a cop. He retired. You know, you could argue how that works. His family gets killed by the mob. He becomes the Punisher. That's pretty much it. So now to like see like this story about Sternberger, and then to find out,
was he a cop? I don't know if he was a cop.
it depends on the. Some of them
I don't
he is.
know
Some of
that
them he isn't. I don't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But anyway,
but as so Maria Sternberger wants to help Frank again, so he thinks Maria will also help Frank.
Where's the big page where he's playing hockey and he looks like a demon? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the one before that, I think.
No, it's because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he says there's a fire inside you, and it's a flashback to the last episode too. Did you see that? But there's just like so Sternberger says he says I lied. Pretty much is what the story says. Is like he goes up and says, "Oh, Frank likes you," because he saw how Maria was looking at him. And then he started writing fake letters from Frank to Maria, and that's what kind of brought them together.
It's very heavily implied too that Maria believes that he is so tortured and whatever that he can only express himself in written words.
Yeah.
So she doesn't even care if it's him or not.
Yeah.
Because when they get together, he doesn't talk to her. She might talk to him,
they make out. It's all lust.
But she might talk to him, and he might be like,
but
whatever.
On, the written word that
he likes having her around, but he is not in love with her. And this is a way for us to see that there were consequences of this union, and that it wasn't even really that special.
No,
not really, because Frank didn't really give a shit, and Maria was unaware that Frank was just nothing.
Murder, yeah.
It was just a psychotic fucking.
She didn't get to see who he
kind
truly
of
became.
good-looking teenage dude. I don't know, but you know what I mean. They're both duped.
So yeah, Frank starts spending more time.
But they both bought into the lie. Yeah.
Frank starts spending more time with Maria, and then this makes me laugh about comic books, and it reminds me of TV where it's like we get to this caption. So Sternberger's going to hang out with his other friends. Maria would always remember it was the happiest time of their life together. Frank would only remember what happened next. Then you flip the page, 2-page ad. I was like,
for X-Men shit, Judgment Day, which I never read.
So then we get past the ad, and we just see a flattened car with blood. What happened when he allowed himself to become distracted? The car was stolen, found wrecked in the woods of Jersey, and just one person still inside. We get a closer shot of the car, right?
It just zooms in each panel.
At each panel, and then we finally get the reveal that it was Sternberger.
Just read the whole page, dude.
That's a lot.
I can read it.
No,
I want. Well, no, I can.
I got it.
Right.
He hadn't been driving. He hadn't been drinking, despite the beer cans littering the scene. Whoever else had been in the car had left him there after the wreck, left him hanging there to bleed out. The autopsy would estimate that it had taken at least 4 hours. The first few hours, Stedman Sternberger had screamed until his throat was raw and useless, but no one heard. So in the end, he went quietly. He died meek, like a lamb at the altar. Fucking brutal. When I was reading it, I went, fucking Christ, is what I said when I read it, because I was like, that it's such a jaw-dropping page turn. And then the next, and this is what I love about this story of showing and not telling, where he calls up Maria and talks to her, and he pretty much, you see him throw some things into a fire, you see the little devil, so it's like, oh, he found those guys and killed them.
Yeah.
So then he tells Maria that he's joining the army, and then there's 2 panels of nothing, silence. Yeah. And I fucking love when books do that. You know what I mean? I love it when they continue to lean on this being a visual medium and taking the time, taking that extra panel before we get any dialogue. And then he's like, yeah, did you hear what I said? I went in this morning and she just says I'm pregnant. And again, I know that they have kids together, but even me, I'm like, Jesus. Like, his friend dies, he murders those guys, and then, I'm pregnant. Like, what? So then we see the priestess come back, and she's in her human form, as if nothing happened. Whatever the hell you are, when this is done, I will kill you so that you stay dead. And then she does like air quotes back to him, when this is over, oh, I've missed you, my lord. And she has like this devilish look of like, I got you, motherfucker. When this is done, so you are going to do what I want you to do.
As much of an evil fuck as she is, dude,
I love her character so much.
Right?
She's such a good villain. She is such a good foil to him. Because
there's parts where you want to believe that she really is doing what's best for Frank.
And she controls the power dynamic. Every time he tries to take control, she slaps him back down. Oh, go ahead and leave, but she's going to stay dead. You want to keep her alive. But the big thing to me was the ending to this whole thing. And again, just really like I don't even know what the word to say is, but it's like a complete reimagining of this character. There was a moment. No, let's get to the end of this. And he accepted it was truly. Trying to find it. He's pretty much saying that he can live with those lies, the lies that Maria. Because who really knows if they really loved each other? Yeah, and she says, in that same moment, I realized that the Punisher knew how to lie, even to himself. And this I knew he would make a most excellent fist of the beast, and so he shall. Like, fucking, she's so good. Because she, again, is such a foil to Frank, because she's such, like, a mustache-twirling villain. It's great. If his lies don't get him killed, is how she ends that. And then we see awesome visual of like the Temple of Ares, and then like a crashed helicopter, and then that
panel at the bottom where he just gets sliced.
This is again what I love about Aaron. It's a slower issue, and then the build up to the end is like classic action movie. Where it's like he have made contact. It's definitely him. And then the next panel is that dude's getting his head fucking chopped off.
It's literally like his head and his hand are up, and then there's space, and then his wrist and his neck.
Yeah, it's just,
like it's so fast you don't even see the blade.
It's so great.
It's just dead.
And then he comes in through the smoke with a Hulkbuster gun and the fucking samurai sword. But the best part of this is, again, how much of a douchebag Ares is. I hear you, Frank. Rejoice, for your God has heard your prayer. You are lost, my child, beguiled by the servants of the beast, but through the power of war and the grace of Ares. And he jumps out.
And he's wearing the fucking Punisher.
Classic logo battle armor.
Douche.
The Punisher shall be redeemed, which could not be the biggest splash page of a "you're the douchebag" than this. Fucking incredible.
Right.
And I want, as crazy as this all is, and how the more and more I read it, the more I don't like Frank and I don't like the Punisher. I also want him to fucking beat the shit out of Ares because he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And I want him to fucking kill the priestess.
Ares is a representation of every fucking douche nozzle out there who has a pair of fucking testicles on his truck. Just you guy, man. You. We're talking about you.
You guy, man.
You know what I'm talking about, though? You know who you are.
You know who you are.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah, ciao.
Continues to be an amazing series. Can't wait to finish it.
Yes.
Can't wait to read the next issue.
We are...
Because he finally gets to fight Ares.
We are going to only go through with the Punisher for at least a month, or for at least a week or two.
What?
That's what you said.
I thought we were going to finish the run.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying
just that.
Yeah.
You want to keep doing 2 books? Do you think I got time for 2 books? What I got? You know what time I got though? But what? Fucking.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.